From architecture to painting and sculpture, literature to live music and theater, Radio 111 presents The Desert Scene, your connection to culture and entertainment in the desert cities. Here's Bonnie G.
And welcome to The Desert Scene. I'm your host, Bonnie G. We're here with my producer, Brian Mendoza, and really happy to welcome back to the show a really good friend of mine, Clifford Bell, who is a prolific cabaret producer in LA and Palm Springs and all over the place. And he's got a bunch of stuff coming up. Hi, Clifford. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you today?
Good. Well, we got a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's just dive in. So I want to start with a celebration of life for Les Michaels, our dear friend Les Michaels, who we lost in a couple months ago. We already did one event, and the second event's coming up on Tuesday, the 21st, February 21st, at the Palm Springs Cultural Center. So tell us a little bit about that one.
Well, you know, I will forever remember that it was in your living room while we were there working together on our new project, and we were talking about that. We thought we might need to change a date that you had set up with Les for the coming year, and you said, "Oh, he's very sick," and that was the very first I had heard about it. So I was just absolutely shocked. And within like 2 or 3 days, we got the news that he had passed. So he was a very, very beloved figure, both in LA and in Palm Springs, and we all just loved him so much. So. We had our first memorial for him on January 28th at the Arthur Newman, where he produced that Cabaret series for about 13 years.
Yep.
And then now we're going to do a celebration for his birthday, and we're doing an open mic, which was one of the mainstays of what he produced.
Right.
He was the king of open mics. He was always, if one closed somewhere, he'd pop one up someplace else. So the most fitting tribute is to give him an open mic. And we get to be at the fabulous PS Cultural Center on February 21st, which would have been Les's birthday. And you and Greg Marks had done a beautiful job hosting the Arthur Newman event. But for this one, Greg is going to host again, and I'm going to host, and Leslie Tennaro, who's, I guess, a very popular performer in the Palm Springs area.
Yep.
Yeah. So I guess she recently had done a very popular production of Fun Home at
CV Rep.
CV Rep.
Yeah.
And Greg, of course, is a Emmy winner for this soap opera As the World Turns, and very handsome, fabulous, talented guy. I love Greg.
Indeed,
we're
he
long time friends. Yeah.
And
so that's February 21st, and no admission. But they are encouraging you to make reservations through Eventbrite.
Yeah. And musical directors for this one are Joel Baker and Constance Gordy, who are both terrific.
Yes.
So this should be really a nice evening, another nice way to remember Les, who is, a wonderfully talented guy, so supportive of local singers here in Palm Springs, and I guess in LA as well, and just a nice guy, just a really nice guy. So we're going to, all right.
And I always loved his attitude about open mics, because he would build them as, you're the star of the show.
Yeah.
You are the star of the show. So he loved to give people a spotlight.
Yeah.
And I just love that about him.
So that's Tuesday, February 21st, PS Cultural Center. You can make reservations on Eventbrite, no admission fee. And I'm also working with you together on my Dusty show, The Look of Love. So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
So excited!
Yay.
Yes. You and I met actually through Les arranged it a long time ago now. I never sat to figure it out, but it was probably like around 12 to 15 years ago. I was bringing a show to Arthur Newman through Les with my friend Jane Kinsey, who's a funny comedian, singer woman. And Les had arranged for us to come be interviewed on your show, a radio show, in person in a studio somewhere. And I just remember being very taken with you. And then I think you told me you were a performer, and then somewhere along in the very near future, I saw you perform at AJ's. And then ever since, we've re-encountered each other over the years, and I helped you out with a show that you had pretty much put together by yourself, but I put some contributions to your last show, Torch. And then I've been telling you since I met you, you ought to do a Dusty Springfield show, and now we're doing it.
Yeah.
We're doing it in May at the PS Cultural Center, Fridays starting May 19th. 3 Fridays in a row, and it's called The Look of Love, the music of Dusty Springfield. And if anybody listening to this doesn't know, which I can't even imagine, but if anybody that's listening to this doesn't know, Bonnie's a beautiful singer, an amazing singer, a great entertainer.
Thank you.
The Dusty Springfield music just fits her like a glove. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, very excited. And there's a little bit of physical resemblance. And by the way, the fabulous Greg Marks we just talked about has agreed to be my special guest. We're going to do some duets together. I'm very excited about that. And we now have
Yes.
Tim Bruneau has signed on as our musical director. So it's going to be very exciting. So again, it's May 19th, 26th, and June 2nd at the Cultural Center on Fridays. Also want to get in, though, you're involved in a film that they're doing their screening there, Studio One Forever. Tell us about that.
Yes, well, Studio One was the original disco. It preceded Studio 54. It was the first big major disco, and it was in Los Angeles. I think it opened like 1974. And within Studio One, there was a nightclub called the Backlot. And I remember it was like basically it was the place in town to come. And I remember when I first moved to LA, I came and I sang at the Backlot. You know, the Backlot had a very prestigious open mic. You had to audition. It was very hard to get into. It was run by Jane Oliver's sister. And, the regular people that performed at it were like Roseanne, Rosie O'Donnell, Sam Harris. I mean, it was a very, very high caliber of quote unquote open mic. Mm-hmm. And although it was a planned open mic, and I got into it, and and I would say to this day, you know, my career is I'm sort of the king of the cabaret world. I'm at least one of them, but I like to think of myself as the king of the cabaret world.
Okay.
And I would say everything that I do is basically a result of what I learned there at the Backlot. The Backlot was a very important place. It actually became a nightclub because Bob Fosse had a heart attack while they were making Chicago, and while the Broadway company had to shut down to accommodate him being in the hospital for like 6 months, Liza Minnelli said to Cheetah Rivera, "You need to do a nightclub act. Let's go to LA and we'll find a club and you can do your nightclub act." So they literally created this nightclub act, this nightclub space for Cheetah Rivera to debut a nightclub act.
Wow.
And then it became the place where like Bernadette Peters and Rosalind Kine and Julie Budd and a million people played. And there's a documentary made about it. My very beloved friend Mark Saltarelli, who's a filmmaker who's won a lot of film festivals and stuff with various shorts. This is his first major full-length thing, and it's all about Studio One. It's about the paradise that it was in the early days, and then the devastation that happened when the AIDS hit in the mid-'80s, and it's got interviews with Bruce Valanche and Cheetah Rivera and me. I'm being interviewed, and there's going to be a special screening. They've got almost all the financing, but they're still looking for the last little bit because movies are hugely expensive.
Yeah.
So they're having 2 big screenings, in kind of invitational screenings for potential donors that are large and small. You know, if you want to give $50,000, you're certainly welcome to come.
Yeah.
But if you want to give $100, I think you're welcome to come. And the Palm Springs one is at the PS Cultural Center, and I believe it's May 9th or March 9th. I think you have the graphic there, don't you?
Hang on, I wrote it down. I think it's March 9th.
I believe it's March 9th, and if you want to come, they're taking reservations at Mark's email, which is marksaltarelli@gmail, which is MarcSaltarelli @gmail. MarcSalterr Saltarelli LLI.
Okay.
Just like it sounds.
Okay.
Mark Saltarelli at gmail.com. And they're going to show it at the Palm Springs Cultural Center. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm just looked it up. It's Thursday, March 9th, 6:30 p.m. with reception to follow. Okay, great. Yeah. And so when was this? When did he actually shoot the movie? When were you interviewed for this? How long ago?
I woke up this morning thinking about the way the documentary got started was one of the original producers from the Backlot days had this whole vision of that he wanted to do a return to the Backlot evening. So he produced a show that was called Back to the Backlot, and it was performed, I believe, on November 9th of 2019. And the reason I was thinking about it this morning is because I spoke to you. You interviewed me on the day that I was on my way to go do that show. I
remember that,
so
yeah.
We had an interview, and I said, okay, I got to go. I got to be at rehearsal because we're opening tonight. And it was, in my entire career, I've never done anything that was like this day. The Backlot, the disco probably was capacity at like 1,000 people, but the nightclub was capacity at like 250 people.
Wow.
And they gave tickets to the Backlot event to like 700 people.
Oh my gosh.
They crammed, it was so illegal and so dangerous.
Yeah.
And people, it took like 4 hours in line to get in.
Oh my gosh.
But it was the most happening thing ever. Mm-hmm. And they filmed it all, and they made a big documentary out of it. And it was an amazing, amazing, amazing night. It was filmed on the show, the Back to the Backlot show, was filmed on November 9th, 2019, right before everything started to shut down. But the footage and collecting all the vintage footage, and they have times where Cary Grant was there, Fred Astaire, Gene Kelly. All these amazing people that had gone to the Backlot, Betty Davis. And it was a big celebrity attraction back in the day. And then Mark has been filming all these interviews, Julie Budd, Bruce Valanche, Cheetah Rivera. That's been going on for about a couple of years now.
And as a club, and you may have said this, and I apologize if I missed it, but as a club, nightclub kind of perform kind of place, when did it stop doing? It's not being used as that at this point, correct?
No, it exists. Well, actually, they just recently tore the building down.
Oh, okay.
But it had been existing as a rental-only kind of event space, but it had fallen to seedy times. It quit being the Backlot in like the late 80s.
Okay. Because
basically, not to be too dark, but, because basically 90% of West Hollywood died. So,
yeah.
Tragically, the demographic that populated Studio One was gone.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Clifford Bell, you are just, I don't think you can fit anything more on your calendar if you tried. So first thing coming up, February 21st, Tuesday, February 21st, PS Cultural Center, a celebration of life for Les Michaels, My Look of Love show coming up in May, and then this Back to the Studio One Forever Backlot film, which is again Thursday, March 9th at the Cultural Center. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be working with you, and that you're my buddy, and things are rolling. You're just rocking and rolling, which is great. Thank you for being here.
It's always so great to talk to you. I love seeing you, and I'll see you around February 21st.
All right.
Looking forward.
Sounds good. All right. Clifford Bell, have a great day.
You.
And everybody else, we'll see you next time on The Desert Scene.